Hey, Whippersnappers, this is Tortimer the Great. Welcome back to another very exciting episode of Pokemon Showdown Little Cup Tournament as we kick off this tournament right with a very exciting match between the TheEspressoCat and EpicBigNick. These two titans are fighting it out in the preliminaries for the right to move on to the Sweet 16 and take on Nurion in that round of the tournament. And these guys have some amazing battles for us to see here today, and so we are going to jump right into it. But before we do, I want to give a special thank you to both the TheEspressoCat and EpicBigNick, as well as the rest of you guys who are currently coordinating to do your battles. I know sometimes it's difficult to get together, and so I appreciate you guys putting in the effort to do that and to participate in this tournament. I'm really excited for this, and I hope you guys are too. And let's jump into the battle and see what these two have in store for us, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty guys, TheEspressoCat leads off with Herschel's Staryu as EpicBigNick leads off with his Meowth Purr. Meowth goes for the Fake Out, which does good damage to the Staryu. Staryu is able to get the light screen off before going down to the Meowth's knockoff there, which is going to give Newton a little bit of special defense as he comes in, throws up that Power Punch on the Meowth, getting the attack boost himself. Meowth is going to U-turn on out, but Newton's going to have that attack boost. The Sharpedo, the Gibble... It's not a Sharpedo. The Gibble comes in and is going to go down to Newton, although the Rough Skin is going to do a little bit of damage there. Newton throws up that Thunder Punch, is going to get his stats reset by the Haze, by the Duskull. Duskull is going to take another Thunder Punch, throw up the Toxic there, and Newton's going to start taking a little bit of damage as Eidolon? EpicBigNick's Duskull protects to let the toxic damage rack up, but Newton able to finish off the Duskull there as he is continuing to take toxic damage. Then Hans Jr. comes in, again with the Protect, waiting out that toxic damage there as Newton finally goes down and Torchic's speed raises. Then Vera Rubin, the Magby, comes in, throws up that Mach Punch to get a little damage off on the Torchic. Torchic continuing to boost its speed and throwing up the Echoed Voice, which is going to continue to compound its damage every turn in succession. The Thunder Punch lands on the Torchic, unfortunately not enough to kill, but the Mach Punch then comes in, that priority finishing off the Torchic, so a good play there by the Magby. Pearl comes in then, and Magby throws up the Thunder Punch, going to take a hard Scald though and go down, at which point Abra is going to come in. Lakdawala is going to come in and finish off the Clamperl. Then Meowth is going to come in, do good damage up against the Abra, but then going to go down to Life Orb damage. Snivy is the only thing left on EpicBigNick's team, and it's going to finish off the Abra, leaving ECAT with just the Baneri and the Talo. Baneri's going to come in with the Fake Out, though, and wrap up battle number 1 of the preliminaries here. Of course, we are doing best 2 out of 3, so let's see what happens in the next battle, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty guys, so battle number 1 went to ECAT. This time ECAT decides to switch up his team. EpicBigNick sticks with his. Meowth comes in, throws up the Fake Out. ECAT smartly switches over to Dory to avoid the Fake Out, but is going to take a knockoff on the next turn and a subsequent knockoff after that. So unfortunately, Shuppet not able to do a whole lot for ECAT there. At which point Rufflet comes in, is going to get its Eviolite knocked off, but able to finish off Meowth for its trouble, so that works out pretty nicely for TheEspressoCat. Cyber Draymond then comes in, is going to be able to force the Rufflet out, get a good Gyro Ball up against the Totodile, but it's not going to do a ton. Totodile then throws up the Crunch, going to go up against the Pearl. Again, not a lot of damage there, as you might expect for in a Little Cup battle, so both opponents switching out. Pearl resting off the damage he took there, rather, and that Magical Leaf not doing a whole lot. Again, in Little Cup, you generally like to see a much bigger chunks of damage being done because there's not a lot of HP in play, so I can respect the switching around when you're saying, you know, this just isn't working. Unfortunately, Leaf not able to do a whole lot against the Honedge either, so going to switch out, allowing Totodile to take that damage as opposed to the super effective steel damage on the Fairy type. Totodile then finishing off the Pearl with a subsequent Crunch, and switching out in face of the Snivy, letting Sprite come in. Sprite the Hoppip there, rotating around as Leafa is getting attracted there, which is probably good for ECAT as it's starting to set up those special attack boosts, so you really don't want to let that get going too much. Then Hans Jr. is going to switch in, throw up that Flamethrower. Totodile is going to take that pretty well and heal back up with the Berry Juice as Hans Jr. begins setting up speed. Takes the Aqua Jet though, and throwing up the Hidden Power there, doing decent damage to Stinson, but not enough to really do much. So we're going to switch out in favor of not losing the Torchic. Leafa coming in there, forcing out the Totodile. So a lot of good footwork happening in this battle here. Guys recognizing the matchups and switching out for more favorable ones. but it definitely makes it difficult to gain any upper ground when you've got teams that are pretty well able to resist each other. Cyber Draymond stays in, throws up that Sacred Sword against the Zeebstrika, or Blitzel. Blitzel is the pre-evolution. Blitzel throws up that Flame Charge, but Honedge sees it coming and is going to switch out. Then Blitzel's going to switch out in favor of Sprite, who's going to be immune to the Earthquake that's thrown up by the Gibble. And Gibble is going to protect against the Leech Seed, but is going to get attracted by Sprite there. The Iron Head activating the Berry Juice and getting Sprite back up to full power. Throwing up that Leech Seed on the Honedge, they're going to get a little bit of damage off at least as Sprite begins to set up the defensive moves, getting that defense built up with Cotton Guard. Hatch Jr. is then going to switch in as Sprite goes up to 4 times damage, throws up that Acrobatics, and is actually going to get the crit and finish off Hatch Jr. Don't know if the crit was really necessary there, but well, I'm sure ECAT will take it. But then Cyber Draymond comes in, and despite the attack or the defense boost, is going to be able to finish off, probably because it was a crit, so it avoids all the defensive boosts there. So each getting a crit there. Stinson able to come in and finish off the Gibble. Then Leafa comes in. Rufflet's going to come in to take the Leaf Storm. Does pretty decent damage. And unfortunately for ECAT, Leafa is going to outspeed the Rufflet and finish it off there. So Leafa now has a 3-time special attack bonus. The Blitzel's going to get a decent Flame Charge off, but unfortunately not going to be enough with 3-time special attack Leafa there. Leafa's going to be able to rip through the Blitzel and the Flabébé, and then Stinson's going to come in, going to get Giga Drained and end off battle number 2. So Game 1 went to ECAT. Game 2 goes to EpicBigNick. Now we need to go into Game 3 to figure out who is going to win this match. So, I think that's wrong. It's matches go into the game? I don't know, but we're going into battle number 3 to determine who the winner of the first preliminary battle in this tournament is. Here we go, guys. Let's check it out. Alrighty, guys. Battle number 3, and ECAT decides to switch back to his first team, Herschel versus the Meowth, starting off again. Herschel is going to throw up the Reflect this time to defend against the physical attacks that the Meowth is going to be throwing up. And so that's going to save it from the knockoff, whereas previously in the first battle it had gone down to that move, and then it lands the burn on the Meowth, so that works out pretty nicely for it. Also landing the burn on the Leafa. Now it's not going to affect its attack damage because obviously this Snivy is running a special set, but is at least going to get him some progressive damage there before the Staryu goes out. At which point Kepler is going to switch in. The first time we've seen the Taillow this battle, well, this set of battles, I guess, going to switch out in face of the Honedge, bringing in the Magby. Magby is going to throw up the Flame Charge, a critical hit, but not going to do nearly enough to be worth staying in on. So throwing the Thunder Punch there, unfortunately then taking a Scald to the face and the Magby going down. Abra then switches in, throws up the Energy Ball, doesn't kill the little guy here. I forget what this thing is called. I want to say Pickle, but that's not right. Anyway, Abra throwing up those Energy Balls, surprisingly not enough to kill the Water type here. Getting the Psychic going, the critical hits still. So some crazy defenses on this thing, probably an Eviolite as well, in order to withstand an Abra of that magnitude. Newton then switches in. The Ice Beam not going to do a whole lot, but Fave Colors is going to throw up the Protect to defend against the Power Up Punch. ECAT lands Power Up Punch this time, starting that train of gathering up some boosts there. Going to hit with the Thunder Punch this time, which is finally going to be enough. So special defense is holding out there, but the physical defense is not enough to withstand Newton. And then Abra switches into a critical Shadow Claw, which is unfortunate for ECAT as it goes down. Copernicus is going to switch in and throw up the Paralysis, which is going to end up stalling out the Honedge, going to keep it without doing any moves. But Kepler's then going to switch into a Sacred Sword, which despite the flying type is going to be enough to almost take it out, and then going to take it out the next turn. It's doing a little bit of damage to the Honedge there, but not enough. The Thunder Punch going to do a bit of damage, but again, not enough to save Newton, and Newton's going to go down, opening the way for Copernicus to come in. That Drain Punch, unfortunately, Copernicus probably doesn't have any moves here that's going to be able to actually damage the Honedge, which is going to spell the end for the EspressoCat in battle number 3. So, victory goes to EpicBigNick, best 2 out of 3. He has bested the EspressoCat, but it was a really good set of battles. There's no shame in these losses. You guys had a great couple of teams together, and I really enjoyed watching these. I hope you guys have as well. And that's going to move EpicBigNick up into the Sweet 16 to battle Nurion. So you guys can go ahead and try and connect. Nurion and EpicBigNick try and connect to get those battles going. And I look forward to seeing what comes out of this next round. For those of you guys who are not familiar or maybe have forgotten, we are going to be having a consolation bracket coming up here at some point. I do think, so that we don't confuse the issue, we're probably going to wait until after the championship to run that. And so I hope you guys will stick around and be interested in participating in that after the fact. But I don't want to confuse the issue with us in the middle of the championship bracket, then dealing with the consolation bracket at the same time. So we're going to hold off on that. But I'm going to set up the bracket, and we'll show it to you guys a little bit later on in the tournament. But I want to thank you guys so much for participating. EpicBigNick and TheEspressoCat, thank you guys both so much. You really had some awesome battles, and I appreciate you guys taking the time out to participate in the tournament. We still have a couple of battles left in the preliminaries here. So we have Aaron Cerise versus Dragonite Strike, which will be coming up soon. I believe they're doing their battle this afternoon, at least when I'm recording it. So I expect to have that to be able to get it out to you guys before too long. And then Scad versus Ready Let's Go. We're still waiting to kind of figure out what's going to go on with that. We had some confusion with how exactly that should be handled. Ready Let's Go is potentially going to forfeit that first round, which I don't really want to see happen. And guys, I would ask you guys, those of you guys who have signed up for the tournament, I get it if you just, I can't force you guys to participate, but you guys have signed up, and I would really appreciate it if you guys, because this is a series, if you forfeit matches, I really don't have the opportunity to commentate anything. And so I would just ask that you guys would go ahead and complete your battles, get me your replays, and we would be able to do that. And also I would this didn't happen this time, and I don't expect it will, but please finish out your matches. I mean, I guess if you guys really okay, this is, I want both sides to be mindful of, okay, I don't really want to drag this out. If I've got this person on the ropes, just finish it. Don't spend a lot of time doing stalling stuff. If somebody's got one Pokemon left and you're doing stalling games, I'd appreciate if you would just, go ahead and finish off the battle. But at the same time, I don't want people just, forfeiting battles. Just this is supposed to be fun. Just complete your battles. Get me your replays, things like that. That hasn't happened yet. This isn't like something, I'm not targeting anybody here. I just wanted to preemptively put that out there so that people would be, just aware of the expectations. This is supposed to be fun. Do your battles. Send me your replays. Let's see how it turns out. And we will have the consolation bracket, so those people who unfortunately do get eliminated will have another opportunity to participate. It really is just meant to be fun. So please do your battles. Please don't just forfeit. If we have huge scheduling issues and I'm not able to get, neither me nor your opponent is able to get in touch with you in any manner, we may decide that we're going to move on without you. But I want to give people enough time. So, while we're still in the preliminaries, you guys are welcome to, those of you guys who have opponents in the Sweet 16 already, you're welcome to go ahead and do those battles. But I don't want this to become like we haven't heard from them in 2 weeks sort of thing. At a certain point, we will have to move on without you. And we're not at that point yet, but I just want to kind of put that out there. Try and be available. Check your comments, check the Discord, and just keep in contact. And when you guys are attempting to set up your battles, be clear and concise. Don't be like, well, let's try sometime this weekend. Say, hey, let's battle Saturday at 12 p.m. EST or something. And just set that so that there's no confusion there. Make sure you're setting specific times for when you guys are going to meet up, and that'll make it easier for everybody. Nobody has to play any guesswork. Nobody has to be sitting around all day waiting. Just set up the times and get in there and do it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will bring you guys bring all of you guys the other preliminary battles here very soon. Hopefully we'll have those come out without too much delay, and then we'll move into the Sweet 16 stuff. So if you guys have done your Sweet 16 battles, make sure to send me your replays. Again, I want all the replays, so make sure to send those to me in the comments. You can put them in the comments here, in the comments on the last episode. I guess at this point, if you haven't submitted them yet, go ahead and put them in the comments here and just say Sweet 16 battle, and give me the opponents or whatever, just so I can kind of keep track of everything. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you guys are participants and you've got any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask. I'd rather get your questions answered so that you guys can continue on having fun with the tournament and we don't have any unnecessary delays. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Tortimer the Great, and you guys have been great. Make sure to leave those likes, comments, subscriptions for me, guys, and I'll see you all back here next time. Special thanks again to TheEspressoCat and EpicBigNick for participating in this first battle of the tournament. Alrighty, guys. Have a good one.